In this behind the scenes video, I'll be showing you how I textured my Wraith model to be a worthy successor to the original. The first episode of StarCraft Eradication is still a little ways away, but hopefully this last behind the scenes video helps tide you over. The first step in texturing the Wraith is to add in all of these aircraft panel lines. I did model any features that actually stick up from the surface, but as we progress in the texturing, we really need grime, rust, and dirt to gather in the seams and recesses, so I'm adding all of the panel lines first. I would say this model is maybe 95% accurate to the original. I did make a few changes, and the biggest is getting a little more cockpit visibility, but without a side-by-side comparison, I don't think anyone would notice the difference. Modern fighter jets are often a lot more matte, while the Wraith seems to be more bare, rusty metal. But it also doesn't seem as reflective as, say, a World War II aircraft or something like the Razor Crest from The Mandalorian. This is probably just due to upgrades in rendering technology, but I'm going to basically coat my Wraith in a layer of dirt to keep that not too reflective look that the originals have. Once all of the panel lines are done, I can start building up these layers with procedural grunge masks. I'll also add on a few of the decals and other details just to see how they react underneath those same layers of grime. I am okay with deviating from that original cinematic model a little bit, as long as it still looks like something that could have existed in the original game. So I added some of the team color scheme from the in-game graphics. All of the procedural grunge is great, but it can often end up coming through a bit too uniform or not adding grunge in places where you would expect it. So my plan all along is to dial back some areas with hand-painted masks, and then also add in specific grunge for where there might be leaking fuel or some detail. For both the grime and aspects of the paint job, I'm looking back and forth at both the original graphics and airplane references. All along I planned on nailing down all of the different layers to this material on the body, and then applying it to the wings as well. I'm a bit sad that the warning labels around the body are pretty much all too small to read, but they are in a real airplane too, unless you're the one working on it. So that adds to the sense of realism and scale. We're almost there at this stage, but something you'll notice in this test render is that every piece of metal is the exact same shade. Oh, and also we need some nicks and scratches on that cockpit glass. Something you'll notice on all aircraft is that there's always a few mismatched panels, so I just want to add in, give it that sense that some panels have been replaced. One of the painted details I'm adding is this nose art, and that was something they actually had on the StarCraft II Banshee. And then I also had the idea from the StarCraft 1 Goliath to line up the eye with some of the sensors on there. Add a bit of that discoloration that heated metal gets, and I think we're ready to apply this material to the wings. And with that material applied to the wings as well, we are ready for a test render in some space lighting. And it's looking pretty good, but we're still not done. There's still a lot of little labels and hand-placed weathering to add. After half this video being just hand placing these small details, you might be asking, does it really make that much of a difference versus using all procedural materials? But I think this comparison before and after of the wing cannon shows that even just a few hand-placed ideas can really help some of these features pop. You could go on forever adding more and more little improvements, but I think at this point we've got something that's comparable to the original. And then I also thought it would be fun to match the lighting of a shot of the original. I think if these two models can hold up side by side, then it's ready to go, engage in some space combat, just awaiting those launch orders. Thanks so much to all my new subscribers, and hopefully my next upload will be episode 1.